Oh, yeah. Joining us on this episode will be Desmond Johnson from Bleav in Carolina Panthers. Desmond, what's up, man? Thanks for joining the Zoom. Thanks for being in the meeting.
What's up, Brett? What's going on? How are you guys doing?
I'm good. I mean, we're chilling. You know, it's Wednesday before a football weekend.
This meeting is
I'm
being
I'm
recorded.
basking in the glory, Desmond, of what my family calls a perfect football weekend last weekend. Okay, now there's only specific to to us. But so my wife is from Georgia, and so she's a big Georgia Bulldogs football fan. I'm from Seattle, so I root for the University of Washington, and then of course we both root for the Seattle Seahawks. And then she doesn't really root for the Falcons, just because I guess when you grow up in the South, they like college football more. Maybe it's because they're all going to church on Sundays usually or something, and so they miss the game. I don't know why. But anyway, last weekend, all three teams win. Huzzah!
It's been a long time since I've had one of those weekends.
Oh, man. And you know what? You'd think it would happen often because those three teams are pretty good. It doesn't happen usually. And since college goes first, if both college teams win, I get really nervous for the Seahawks.
Can I tell you that I saw that
Yeah.
and I was more nervous for the Seahawks because I knew the Huskies and the Bulldogs won.
Right, yeah. Because it never happens. It never happens. Desmond, who's your college team? Do you root?
Well, I'm in North Carolina, so I'm a Tar Heel fan, born and bred. But in football, it's a little touch and go.
Yeah.
I'm more so basketball than anything else. But I root for all of the sports teams for the Tar Heels. I've adopted Colorado. I adopted them after the first half of their first game. I love the swagger. I love what they're doing. I've been telling folks for weeks that Colorado reminds me of 05 USC, not in terms of like talent level, like across the board, like the roster, but like the buzz they have created. Like Alabama and Georgia, they rattle off 11-win, 12-win seasons every year, but you don't see Will Ferrell and Snoop Dogg, and, you know what I mean, like on the sidelines at Alabama. And Colorado, Lil Wayne led them out with a theme song last week. You know, like it's just different. Like there's just all kinds of nonsense going on the sidelines, and they've been exciting, and people are gravitating to them. That's
I heard Cardi B is going to ride the Buffalo down the field next game.
That would not surprise me at all. Like literally, they've got like just random celebrities showing up on the sidelines there. And if they beat Oregon this week, and go to 4-0 and have USC next week, that in Colorado, like that's going to be like a ridiculous. Colorado probably ranked top 10 at that point. So,
dude, I got to tell you, I mean, as a Washington fan, I find myself rooting for Colorado. I have never rooted for another team in the conference. Like,
my question is, why did the Pac-12 wait until the final year of existence to do this? To the polls, to the playoffs, to everything. Like, it's like literally the entire conference is like good this year.
It's killing. Like, it's killing me. It's killing everyone. It's killing my mother. My mother can't understand it. She's like, I don't understand. Are they going to stop playing football? What is happening? She's like, it's so fun right now. I'm like, I don't know, Mom. It's called money. Let me. I got to hit the theme song for Take 12 here, Desmond, and then let's get into it and all things can, and let's get back to Colorado during the episode also, because I think, I mean, that's the story that just keeps on giving right now out there in the sports world. But here's our theme song, and then we'll get after it.
Take 12 if you want to run unclear. Unapologetic from the jump. And no politics in this club, just dirt from the streets and the cliques in the mud. Take 12. Best podcast for the Seahawks, #1 sports talk. Yeah, we got it on live. Take 12. Every episode, 12 hot takes. And we reppin' for Seattle, my place.
It's the Take 12 podcast on the Bleav Sports NFL Extravaganza Network. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Brett, your host, born and raised in Edmonds, Washington, lifelong Seahawk fan. Lofa is unable to join us on this episode because there's probably some charity golf tournament somewhere that needs a long drive champion. And I mean, I wish he was here because the talk of the 05 Trojans.
Oh, he would love it.
Right? I mean, that was him. That was his squad, or at least right before that. And then, of course, Pete Carroll, who now is heading up our Seahawks, but at the time he was the hated coach of USC because I was, of course, rooting for the Dogs. But Desmond, I mean, you nailed it, man. Like, those teams with Will Ferrell on the sideline, like you said, and Snoop Dogg dropping by, and like the celebrity atmosphere, and Leinart himself being a celebrity, and Reggie Bush and Lofa and all them. I mean, yeah, totally, man. And the swagger they played with, the sort of just the vibe around the team. Yeah, very reminiscent.
It's infectious. And like, I call myself a casual college football fan because usually I work on Saturdays, so I'm not really around to attach myself to a team. But every once in a while, a team comes around, like a 05 USC, a 01 Miami, that's just like, you gravitate to that team because of the personalities and what's going on with it. And Colorado has similar things. Now, again, I'm not comparing the talent level of the roster of that 05 USC team. That might have been one of the greatest college football teams of all time.
Sure.
To this Colorado team. They're missing pieces on the offensive line, and Deion needs another cycle of recruiting to really get this thing humming. But
can you imagine him with 2-3 more years?
Dude, Shador's going to be there another 2 years, I think, a year or two. What is he, a sophomore, a junior? Yeah. So Travis Hunter, same way. He's a sophomore. They got this thing going. I think Deion kind of walked the code, for how to build a team.
And Deion just like with the WWE sort of like storyline-ness of it. He knows how to create the thing the way that I mean, it's the most watched handshake of all time last week, just because of what Deion's able to create, but then what the media creates off of what these other coaches are stupid enough to say. Are you kidding me? Who's still talking and doubting Deion at this point? He's going to come into your house and crush your face.
He sold $1 million worth of sunglasses in one day after being on ESPN's. I think it was Pat McAfee and something else, but
marketing machine.
After that coach made the comment about the sunglasses and the hat, he made a deal with the sunglass company. Yeah. They put it out, and it goes over $1 million in sales in the first 24 hours. Like, Deion is literally the biggest thing in sports right now.
They have a KFC commercial. The whole family's on a KFC commercial right now.
I'm watching TV the other night. And my wife is sitting off to the side, like watching something on her laptop, so she's got earbuds in. And I'm watching the TV, and like the first commercial is Deion for, I think it was California almonds or something like that. And I'm like, why is he selling California almonds? And then like 2 commercials later, it's the KFC commercial. And I'm like, Deion was just in 2 commercials in this one commercial break. Then the Affleck commercial plays with him and
it was Saban.
And I'm like, oh my God, like how is he doing this? How did he get all this going at the same time? And dude, he's everywhere. Like we have not been able to do a Bleav in Panthers episode the past 3 weeks without mentioning Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
And we actually took his thing. We used this on our show. And of course, Jonathan Stewart, who's my co-host, is an Oregon Duck. Mm-hmm. So this is a big week for him. He picked Oregon to win that game, but we ended up jacking Deion's Bleav thing here. Do you believe? So we use that throughout our show. So
Bleav spelled our way.
It's all season. Yeah, it just fit. So,
well, hey, speaking of marketing and all that, I got to remind everybody that our show is brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel, 2 locations up there in Western Washington. Go in and get your chili dogs, your chili burgers, your root beer floats, your mini corn dogs, whatever you want. It's all good at Wiener Schnitzel. If you have not been to a Wiener Schnitzel in a while, and Desmond, for you too, like it is delicious. I mean, like producer Katie and they came on as a sponsor. We're like, all right, it's been a while. Let's go check it out. You think you remember? No, you have no idea.
It's good.
How good it is.
Ooh, okay.
Get yourself over there, everybody. There's a location in Everett in Washington State and one in Fife. And if you mention the Take 12 podcast, you get a free small soda with any other purchase. So why wouldn't you do it? Check out, I mean, you can hit the drive-through, right? Do it. It's easy for lunch. It's Wiener Schnitzel, everybody. Desmond, I mean, we could sit here talking Colorado football all day. Because I was going to say too, like, man, it just, Deion hits right in my wheelhouse of like sports fandom with, I mean, he was, I can vividly remember him on the Cowboys and the Niners and the Falcons and the whole thing and him playing baseball at the same time and everything. And I loved everything about it. And my dad and my grandparents hated everything about it. And that's why I loved everything about it. And I don't know. I love it. But the fact that they're in the Pac-12 makes it very hard for me, and I think a lot of people in Seattle. But anyway, yes, okay, producer Katie, I know. Okay, on to pro football. Desmond hosts Bleav in Panthers on the Bleav Sports Network. You guys can find the podcast wherever you're listening to this podcast and press subscribe and all of that. And him and Jonathan will be talking Panthers all season long and everything in between. But Desmond, when we're looking at this game here against our Seahawks and your Panthers, what are your just initial thoughts and how you see this thing shaping up?
Well, you got perfect timing because as we're taping this, it just came across my phone that Bryce Young was held out of walkthrough today due to an ankle injury he sustained somewhere during the game Sunday, and his status for Sunday is unknown. So I have no idea what we're going to do going into Sunday. Although at this point, some of the Panthers fan base has been clamoring for Andy Dalton to come out there because, the backup quarterback's the most popular player on the team if you're not playing well. So,
especially if it's the red rifle.
Yeah, I mean, and Andy Dalton, in my opinion, he's probably one of the better backup quarterbacks in the league. He knows where to go. He's going to be able to do what he's got to do. But I think Andy's going to have the same problem that Bryce has been having, and that's that our wide receivers can't really get separation from anyone. And we kind of knew that going in. We don't have a number one wide receiver. I've always said you don't need a number one wide receiver to win in the NFL, but you do need a guy that you can count on to throw the ball to. And right now, Bryce, he's trying to figure that out. I just saw a chart on Twitter earlier this morning that showed quarterbacks and their accuracy based on like their windows or something like that. And Bryce was at number one, like in the league. But the way the chart was situated, it was like he's number one when he has a window to throw to. The problem is he hasn't had a window more often than not. So that's the main issue. We haven't been able to really have a deep passing game. And usually by the third quarter, other teams start to hone in on it and they start to load the box. They start to bring people down because they don't respect Carolina being able to throw it over the top. They don't have anybody to really do it with yet, or they just haven't seen it. We haven't had it on tape really. So they don't know what Carolina can do. It changes the game plan tremendously if Bryce is not able to go Sunday. I haven't really had a problem with Bryce, actually. He's not really been the main issue. They just haven't been able to string together drives. The other teams, the Falcons and the Saints, have held the ball. Well, actually, we held the ball 10 minutes longer than the Falcons. That was just a game. We had 3 turnovers, and it got away. But the Panthers script the past 2 weeks, and this is the frustrating part for Panther fans, has been exactly the same. They've been in rock fights for 3 quarters, where it'll be like 6-3 or 6-6 at the end of the third quarter. The Panthers defense, which is top 10 in my opinion in the league, keeps them in all these games, and by the fourth quarter, they're worn down. The opposing team usually scores a go-ahead touchdown, and then they may score another one with about 2 minutes to go, and it makes the margin bigger than what it was.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's happened the past 2 weeks. That same script, that's exactly what happened against Atlanta, and then we changed the ending a little bit against New Orleans, but the result was still the same, and everything's still the same. They probably need to run the ball more. That's the main thing they probably could focus on, just to give the quarterback some help and to give the offensive line some confidence.
I got to tell you, well, as a Seahawk fan, I'm nervous, but I'm always nervous. That's just part of being a Seahawk fan. But I get a little, actually, and I don't know how other Seahawk fans would feel about this, but I would rather have Bryce Young in there than Andy Dalton. And hear me out.
Yeah.
You guys are coming to Seattle. He's a rookie. He's already 0-2. I know he's a confident guy, but like, hey, the Flumen Field is not a place for rookie quarterbacks. We get loud and we want to get after him. Andy Dalton, a savvy vet coming in. We lost to Carolina last year in a game that we thought we should have won. We don't want to lose this year in a game that we think we could win. And so honestly, like, I'd rather see Bryce back there just to maybe, hopefully we could kind of shake him up a little bit. And maybe Andy comes in when he thought he didn't have to come in. I don't want Andy Dalton thinking he's going to play this game, coming in to play this game. This makes me nervous now, Desmond. I was not nervous about this game before I started talking to you. Now I'm nervous about this game.
I thought that would actually make you feel better. That Bryce
no, that's the thing. No.
I was like, oh, this is bad for us. And it feels
giving you insight into what it's like to be a Seahawk fan, because it doesn't make any sense at all. What about our Seahawks makes you nervous?
We've been pretty high on Geno Smith the past 2 years on Bleav in Panthers. I know Jonathan Stewart is a huge fan. Stu really likes him. Skylar Callahan, who's our third co-host, he's the beat writer for the Panthers for Sports Illustrated. He's been a big Geno Smith fan too. So we were cheering for him when he got his bag last year and everything else.
Yeah.
It feels like Seattle's trying to rebuild what Pete Carroll and them did when he first got there. Building the Legion of Boom, building a run game.
Mm-hmm.
That the same elements seem like they're there, and that's what he's doing. And our GM Scott Fritter was in the building when he was doing that. I think he was the president of football operations or something, scouting something. He was something in the building at the time when they were doing all that. I feel like I don't know how we came to that conclusion, but our predictions are all jacked up anyway. But the week before week 1, I think we had Seattle in the NFC Championship game.
Really?
And we were looking at it. We were looking at it next week. We're like, what did we do? Like, how did we get
because they added these, I mean, not even added, but like the offense. I mean, because like you said, like Pete loves defense. We know that, Legion of Boom and all that. And obviously he loves the run game. And we think we're really great there, especially on paper, right? A lot of young talent on defense, deep running back room, especially with what they did in the draft. And so, but then it's like, and we're high on Geno over here too. I mean, Lofa, after week 1 was telling everybody, hey, relax, it's going to be fine. He's, and we love Geno. But with the receiving core that we got, we're real excited, right? DK, Tyler Lockett, who we have to take the underrated off of before we start. Everyone talks about Tyler Lockett, they say, oh, the most underrated guy in the NFL. He's been in the NFL for 8 years now, doing it the whole time. Okay. Yeah. And then with JSN, which everyone's real excited about this rookie, right? And so, I mean, I think that's what Seahawk fans are most excited about. And I'm wondering, like, you guys, because like you said, you do have a really strong defense. Like, does our offense make you nervous?
Not as a whole, because our defense is our strongest thing we've got. Our
Who's going to match up against DK?
Our secondary is banged up. Of course, no J.C. Horn. CJ Henderson can be a liability one play and then the superstar the very next play. So we don't know what we're getting from him. Dante Jackson's pretty stable. Jeremy Chin's only played like 30% of the snaps the first 2 games, which is alarming to Panther fans. We're not sure exactly what they're doing with him. But the backbone of the defense is the defensive front 7. And that took a hit with Shaq Thompson going on IR with the fractured tibula from his injury from Monday Night Football.
Speaking of University of Washington, a lot of Husky fans up here laugh.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he's the season. He's the leader of our defense, and him gone. Brian Burns has been playing like a man possessed. I think he's trying to up his worth to Bosa money because they didn't get him signed, and now if he messes around and has an all-pro season this year, and they have to figure this out at the end of the year, he's going to get up above $30 million per year for a defensive end, just like Bosa just did, because the Panthers waited. And because of that, we're getting a chance to see him play with this emotion. Burns, Frankie Louvu's a problem. He had a couple sacks this past Monday night. I think he could have an all-pro season as well. He's trending that way. Justin Houston was a great pickup on the linebacking core out of Baltimore. And then, of course, Shaq was part of that linebacking core. Yeah. Brugero Hill is subbing in that spot for Shaq and actually got a sack on Monday night. So the defense is good. I'm not worried about Seattle's passing game because our pass rush has been pretty good. I'm always a firm believer of you can't throw the ball if you're sitting on your behind. So if they can get back there and not give him more.
Well, we are, our tackles were out but they were out for this game against Detroit and they held up really well. That was the biggest thing everyone was. Speaking of we're just talking about nerves the whole time. That's what we were all nervous about going into the Lions game was, we don't have any, our tackles are out and these guys, young guys got to step up, but they really did. They kept Geno clean. So hopefully that can continue against you.
Now I don't know who the Lions have on their defensive line, but I don't think they have anyone the likes of Derek Brown.
Hutchinson, right?
So, Hutchinson. Yeah, he's pretty good actually. So we'll see, but it's going to be strength on strength really. And I think the Panthers are going to dial up some exotic blitz packages and stuff. Because to me, they need to start running this whole thing through the defense. Like, it's not going to be the offense. It's a work in progress. They're still kind of figuring it out. Like, these are all brand new players, coaches. Like, these coaches, this is the first year they've all been together. So it's like this microwave popcorn mentality of let's get it right now and go. And then it doesn't happen and people are mad. And in Carolina, they want to fire Frank Wright. They want to bench Bryce Young. They want to do all these things. I'm like, it's week 2.
I know, but Seahawk fans will know what I'm talking about. This is the exact game that has us nervous, though. Like where things with the other teams seem to be sort of, they're brand new coaching staff. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to find their identity, this and that. And then here it is week 3. And oh boy, like let's not have a letdown game because, the following week for us is Monday Night Football. It's in New York. It's against the Giants, all of that. And so let's not look past the Panthers, Seahawks, and Seahawk fans. Okay, please. Desmond
have not been that far off. I will say that to Seahawks fans that are looking at it like it's like barbecue chicken. They have not been far off in either one of these games. The first game they lost it themselves with turnovers. And the second game they kind of spotted New Orleans in the second half. That whole game came down to that Chris Olave catch. Really, once that happened, it turned the game. I still expect Carolina to be competitive, maybe even more so on the road. So
my son keeps asking to watch that catch. Just go, can I see that catch again? That was an incredible catch. It really was. Desmond, we do score predictions here each and every week for how this game will turn out. It's a challenge. It's the score prediction challenge from Take 12, producer Katie. If people out there can predict what they think the score will be on our social media, we'll put the post up. You guys go comment how you think this thing will turn out, put in the final score. And if you nail it, which somebody did last week for the first time in this show's history ever, if you nail it, you get a $50 gift card from our friends at Simply Seattle, the only apparel company you need up there in Seattle. Go to simplyseattle.com, use the promo code TAKE12 to take 12% off of your entire purchase. And they sponsor our score prediction challenge. So, and if no one nails it, Desmond, then the $50 rolls over to the next week and then the next week and the next week. So this is compounding.
Okay.
So get over there and sign up or get your prediction in, and you got to be following us, right, producer Katie?
Yep. You have to be following Simply Seattle and us.
Look, but even if you're a Carolina Panthers fan, you want to get in on the score prediction, you can do that. Just give us a follow. It's all good.
It's true.
Yeah, it's all good for
everybody. Follow too. I want that $50 myself.
Yeah, or $350. It depends on how long this streak goes. Desmond, how do you think this thing will? What's the score going to be?
Well, let's see. I don't think Carolina has scored over 17 points at all this season. So I'm going to settle around in there, not knowing the quarterback situation at the moment.
Right.
Not knowing who we have available at wide receiver at the moment. I know DJ Chark came back last week, but he's had a hamstring since the middle of August. So I think they're kind of easing him in. Hamstrings can be, the whole season. I don't want to say 2017 because that was the score last week for Carolina and Atlanta. I'll go 17-14 Carolina. Late field goal in the fourth quarter wins it.
Okay. Yeah. Now I'm in a real predicament. I'm in a real predicament here. So also on the show last week, in order to break the whatever happened against the Rams, I, for the first time in this show's history, picked against the Seahawks.
Which is against the rules.
But look what happened. We won in overtime. We went on the road. We became the villains. We grabbed the ski masks. It was all about me. And now you've heard me all episode long tell you how nervous I am for this team that everyone they're not barbecue chicken. They're not.
We've got talent on the squad.
I know. I'm saying that. I know.
The defense was top 2 overall 2 years ago. Most of those guys are still on the defense. That's actually what they just built on that base. Carolina's problem is that they haven't figured out what their offensive identity is yet. Are they a run first team? Are they going to be a passing team? They don't know. They're still trying to figure that out. This could be the game they try to figure it out because they're not at home.
See what I mean?
Desmond,
now, I think they'll be better concentrating on the road.
In order to make sure that doesn't happen, you know what I might have to do because it worked last time. Okay, Carolina. All right, give me. You guys know what I'm doing now. Don't come after me. If I go the other way, if I pick Seattle, if I say, "Oh, Seattle 45, Carolina 12,"
it's not going to happen.
Then forget it,
that's
and they're all going to come yell
Don't
at
do
me.
that. Don't
and
do
it
that.
worked
It's gonna
last
be
week.
you.
So here's what I'm going to do, Katie. It's going to be a wacky score. That's how you know this is
no
all
other
pretend
choice,
and
Brett.
fake.
We
But I'm doing
understand.
this for the sake of the football gods
We
out there.
understand. You have no other choice.
I am sacrificing this pick to the volcano. Listen, it's going to be Carolina 19, which is a weird score.
Yeah.
And then the Seahawks 18.5. You see what I'm doing? That's not a real score.
That is
You
not
see?
a real score.
No.
That is imaginary.
Exactly. There we go. Listen, hey, if anyone in Carolina wants to come to Seattle to see the game, they should be flying our sponsor, Delta Airlines. Go to delta.com, everybody, for all of your travel needs. It's the only airline that we fly here at Take 12. If you want to come on our away game adventures, Desmond, if you want to come with us, we're traveling to New York City for the Seahawks taking on the Giants. We are throwing a Sunday night football watch party because the Seahawks play on Monday. So the night before the Seahawks play on Sunday night, we're all going to be watching Sunday Night Football at Carlo East in Manhattan. It's the Seahawks bar there anyway. That's where all the Seahawks fans go anyway. So Lofa and Katie and
Come hang out, Desmond.
and Leroy Hill and a bunch of other Seahawks who might be in town will be stopping by. And if you want to get to New York, fly Delta Airlines. Seahawk fans and Washington State residents, make sure that you sign up for the 12 status. It's something special at Delta Airlines. What do you do, Katie? You Google 12 status. It comes right up. What's the website?
12status.com.
There you go. 12status.com. You get 1 mile for every yard the Seahawks pass for this season, Desmond.
Wow.
And you also get priority boarding, and you get 12% off of the team store every 12th of the month. But you got to live in Washington State. You have to put in your zip code. So sorry, Seahawks fans that live in Carolina or wherever. That's how it works. DeltaAirlines.com, everybody. And we appreciate them. Did I miss anybody?
They could
Katie?
also fly Delta to Seattle and win tickets to Epic Seats.
Oh, yeah, that's another one. Oh, thank you, producer Katie. EpicSeats.com, Desmond. I'll get through this one fast. No, we have a contest, Katie, for them, actually. We're giving away 2 tickets to the game this weekend. If you want to go see the Panthers and the Seahawks battle it out. Lofa will be putting his movie quote. He did this all last season. He goes on his social media. He makes a video. He gives you guys the quote. All you got to do is tell him what movie it came from, and then we'll draw the names out of a hat because multiple people will get the answer correct, but we'll put everyone's name in a hat. We'll draw it out. And that's how we'll determine who wins the tickets from EpicSeats.com, our lovely sponsor. It's a local company in Seattle. You can buy and sell seats on EpicSeats.com. If you mention Take 12, you get an extra $12 per seat when you're selling. If you got 4 seats, that's like an extra $1,000. I don't know.
Totally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So tell them Take 12 sent you. And then when you're buying seats, you get to take 12% off when you spend $100 at EpicSeats.com. Nobody beats Epic Seats. Desmond, what's your favorite juicy NFL storyline that doesn't involve one of our 2 teams this season?
That's good. That's a good question. Juicy storylines.
How about the running back situation? Oh, sorry.
Well, no. There's been a lot of injuries the past 2 weeks to star players. Nick Chubb's injury. I still have successfully avoided seeing it on Twitter. I don't know how, but I have not actually seen the video that everyone's most out about.
I can't find myself to seek it out. Actually, I didn't.
Yeah, me either. Yeah, I don't even want. I'll take everybody's word for it. It was really bad. I think for me right now, I think it's how legit is Dallas? Like, because Dallas looks like, I think Dallas might have the best defense in the entire league. This Saints team we just saw is top 3, and I think the 49ers are right there too. But this Dallas team, they cause turnovers. They cause havoc. They literally, Daniel Jones is probably still having nightmares about Micah Parsons from that that opening Sunday night game where he's
You can pretty much put Micah Parsons in the Hall of Fame right now. If
Lawrence Taylor, he looks like a
yeah.
Lawrence Taylor 2.0. It's insane, and they did all the right things in terms of bringing in Stephon Gilmore to be that other cornerback opposite of Diggs, and now you've got that in your secondary. You got Lawrence and these guys up front. They are legit. But I think people are saying, well, you played the Jets without Aaron Rodgers and you played the Giants, and it's the Giants. So it's like I think people are trying to figure out how good the Cowboys are, because if the Cowboys are good, then it changes the whole NFL, to be honest. There's a handful of teams when they're really good, the NFL as a whole gets more eyeballs. The Cowboys, the 49ers, the Steelers, when they're really good. And if this is one of those years where the Cowboys are going to rattle off a 14-3 record or something like that and be a legit Super Bowl contender, the media they're always latched on to them, but they'll continue to latch on, and it'll just become an even bigger story.
Well, and even if it implodes after this and they lose 14 in a row, that's a big story too. Yeah,
there's people waiting on that to happen too.
It's the Cowboys. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the Cowboys, right? Like I'm hoping it all goes south, just like I do every year for the Cowboys, because I just like watching the world burn, Desmond. That's all. I mean,
I don't understand this Cowboy hate. Like I used to be a Cowboy fan, back in the day.
Duke hate. You have to understand Duke hate. It's like that.
Oh yeah, I completely. Now that I can explain that for.
Well, you understand Duke hate.
Duke hate exists. Yeah, it's like like you want the
Yeah.
condensed version, you want the full thesis statement. Like there's reasons why people hate Duke fans, and really, you know what? Honestly,
True.
it's not even the Duke players anymore. Because when I was a kid, it was the Duke players that we hate. Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley, Grant Hill. Like they were there for 4 years. So you grew hatred towards them. Grayson Allen's probably the last one that we hate like that. We hate fans. We hate the Duke fans. Like it's the fan base. And really, after we beat them in the Final Four, Carolina fans are just like, I mean, what else are we supposed to do? And Duke fans have just fought back even harder. Like they can't accept the fact that we put K out in the Final Four in a meeting that was going to destroy the earth if it ever happened, and then Carolina won it.
Dude,
they deserve every bit of misery they ever get. They really do.
Well, I mean, I know North Carolina is not typically a football school, but you guys are watching a quarterback this year, aren't you?
Yeah, 3-0. Drake May doing his thing. Probably the second quarterback off the board behind Caleb Williams, unless Sador Sanders continues to play the way he's playing.
Do you believe?
So I mean, it's one of those things where it's a 3-horse race, I think, for the Heisman. Dude, we use that for everything.
Hey, don't sleep on our lefty up here, Michael Penix Jr. Okay, he's throwing for like 9,000 yards a game right now.
Yeah. There's a lot of good storylines going on in college football and in the NFL right now. It's good that football's back. I'm really happy.
It's the best time of year. It
really is.
You guys can find Desmond and Jonathan Stewart, and I'm forgive me, your other co-host as well,
Skylar Callahan from Sports Illustrated.
Find them on Bleav in Panthers. Bleav spelled our way, BLEAV, as Lofa used to put it. And also find Desmond on social media at Des_3505. Their podcast also is on the Tobacco Road Sports Radio YouTube channel? No. Yeah, YouTube channel. Yes, the video version.
Yeah, we do them live, so we can do fan interaction. We started doing that last year, and we started putting them on. I own Tobacco Road Sports Radio here. We do North Carolina A&T radio broadcasts, high school football, studio shows and stuff based here in North Carolina.
Give out the link.
So if you go to our YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/at Tobacco Road Sports Radio. You'll find stuff on everything from ACC, NASCAR, exclusive Panther coverage, anything that's related to North Carolina sports. We probably have something going on with it, whether it's a podcast or a radio show or something going on here. We're on multiple radio stations, terrestrial, here in North Carolina. So we parked the video for Bleav in Panthers on our YouTube channel. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I think we're at like a little over 900 last time I checked it.
We'll push there.
Yeah, pound that subscribe button. Get us there, and you can catch our content there. Or when we do them live, Tuesdays at 10:30 a.m. in season. We'd love to have Bleav hosts pop in and give their opinions and whatnot. Now I know 10:30 East Coast time is like 7:30 for you, so like a little early.
That's early. We'll Lofa will send me.
Yeah.
No, Des, we appreciate your time, man. Thank you so much for stopping by and chatting. And let's do this again.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you guys need me, just let me know, and I'm happy to hop on.
Cool. We end the show by breaking it down like the players do after practice. So hands in the middle. Desmond, as the guest, it's on you, man. Go for it. Break it down for us.
All right, let's have a clean Sunday contest. Let's no injuries. Let's have a good game. Let's hope that everybody gets out of it healthy and good, and we get a good, enjoyable 4:00 game on Sunday on 3. All right, so good game on 3. 1, 2, 3.
I was gonna say, do I have to say all that? 1, 2, 3. Good game.
All right.
Nice.